Hi guys, welcome to Paradox of Losing Cycle channel. Today we're going to talk about why gambling journey is unpredictable. Um, Gambling, as you know by now, basically it's a casino gaming uh, with all kinds of games in the casino, as well as forex trading, margin trading as well. Falls under the gambling umbrella. um, Anything that has guesswork, because either you are guessing in a financial market, you are guessing in trading in the futures, or in a crypto trade, or in the casino online gambling, yeah, like card games or slot machines or roulette table or craps and so forth. So all of this require guesswork. So anything that has a guesswork has a some kind of characteristic of gambling into it. Okay, so that's what we mean by gambling. And now we're going to talk about the why gambling journey is unpredictable. Let's get to it. Um, so basically, this is all about a comprehensive due diligence criteria that you should know, or you should check yourself while you are gambling. So basically, Um, we're going to start with initial expectations. All right. So when you are starting a session, obviously you have an initial plan. With an initial plan, you might have a strategy in place, or you have a system or a method that you want to test and try. You might have watched a YouTube video, or you might have read a book, from Amazon, or you might have basically seen a friend of yours, you know, uh, playing blackjack or playing baccarat or playing roulette, and he told you about a system, and then you say, "Aha, I'm going to test this to see if it works or not." So that's more of a initial plan. So your initial expectations could carry an initial plan, and then you need to check yourself that are you hopeful for a big win? I mean, what's your thinking? What's your thinking behind this game that you're going to play? Are you you know, trying to win big? Have you seen a video of somebody making millions or something? I mean, are you into like, hey, I've seen this guy making a lot of money. I want to make something similar. I want to quit my uh, you know day job and try this one out, and I'm going to continue making income from gambling. So, check yourself. Are you hopeful for a big win, or are you hopeful for some kind of making a return from gambling? If that is true, it's a big red flag. I mean, you shouldn't be having this kind of hope. I mean, that's the whole point. You should not be hopeful for a big win. Or you might be a cautious optimist. You might have tried. You might have been playing for a while now, and then you understand, the ups and downs of this game, and then you say, you know what, this time I'm gonna be more cautious, but at the same time you're an optimist. Okay, your optimism is all about, hey, I'm gonna test the system a different way. I'm gonna be more disciplined. I'm gonna be more diligent. I'm gonna uh, um, wait more and bet less. So this is like a criteria that, okay, you are now ready to be more cautious. You are willing to grind. You are willing to spend some time. So these are all, this will shape your initial expectations. So you need to check: do you have an initial plan? Are you hopeful for a big win? Are you a cautious optimist? So check your psychological factor as you're entering the gaming session. Or you might say, hey, look, I feel good, and I feel like you know gambling today. So, and that's more of a, you'll be going into a reckless gambling session in that case. Okay, so these are criteria that you need to check yourself when you are starting the gaming session. Do you have these criteria in place or not, in order to better manage yourself, and and better manage your expectations as well. And then you need to acknowledge that gambling is all about random outcomes. Okay? It's a 50-50 chance game. There's nothing you can do about it, right? So, even though if you have an initial plan and all of this is fine, you're feeling good, you might have played before, you might not, but you should acknowledge all the time that whatever system, whatever plan that you have, it's a 50-50 chance game. I mean, that's not going to change at all. And there is no proven systems or method that can help you to win this game consistently. It might help you during a session, maybe one or two games, but it won't give you a consistency in winning, okay? Because of the randomness of these outcomes. So you need to acknowledge these. And also, you need to acknowledge that the outcomes are uncontrollable. So, um, you need to acknowledge that it's a 50-50 chance game. You need to acknowledge that there is no proven systems or methods can give you a consistent win. And you need to acknowledge that the outcomes are uncontrollable. Okay? So, and then you need to check your risk taking behavior. First of all, you might start as a conservative start in the game. You might say, hey, everything is fine. I'm going to start slow. I'm going to test it out. I'm going to bet low. That's fine. But the moment you get in, the sooner that that you realize that you are into reckless gambling, the better it is, in order to stop bleeding. So basically, uh, the moment you start or the moment you enter the game, you feel conservative, but that doesn't mean that you're going to continue being conservative throughout the game. So you need to acknowledge that as well. So constantly, you need to check yourself that when you are diverting from being conservative to being reckless, okay? So you need to check this all the time, okay? Now, and then you need to watch out for your a gradual risk increase. So as you're betting, as you're moving down the down cycle, okay, as you are incrementally losing in this game, because you're incrementally losing, you're waiting for a spike or two to come in order to realize a big win. You might be increasing your risk exposure by betting high. So, gradual risk increase, you need to monitor this. You constantly need to monitor your behavior towards gradual increase in risk taking. So, that's something you need to constantly monitor. And also, you need to check yourself historically if you had all in tendency, meaning that do you always go all in when you are frustrated? I mean, sometimes when you are realizing 25, 30% loss, you feel like going all in order to realize and recoup your losses. So basically, how easy it is for you to go all in. Um, the reason is that if you have a history of going all in all the time, it's going to happen again. So basically, don't be surprised that this time around you come in a gambling session, and when you are playing, and all of a sudden you just get caught in all in situation, and you don't know what the heck is going on. Is because it's in your DNA, it's in your it's in your habit. You can't get rid of it. So basically, the sooner you realize this, the better it is. You got to do something about it beforehand. So basically, the best thing to do is probably not to bet big. Okay, I mean obviously it's better to stop the game or never start the game in the first place. But if even if you start any game, it's better not to bet big because you don't want to go into a situation where if you are obliged to go all in order to recoup your losses. Okay, so you need to watch these elements. You need to watch how conservative you are. What is your gradual risk increase? What is your all in, going all in tendency? So these things you need to monitor them constantly, while you are in a gambling session or whenever you have a crave for gambling. So you need to check for these elements. Okay. And then comes you need to assess your psychological factors. What do we mean by psychological factors is that, okay, first of all, you need to check your cognitive biases and gambler's fallacy. What do you believe in, in gambling? Do you believe that gambling bring you consistent return? Do you believe in some kind of intuition about that some days can bring you a better luck than the other days, or you might believe in that you have played on this slot machine yesterday, and you were losing, but this time it can turn around and bring you a better luck. You might have a better chance of winning. You might believe in saying that there are so many gamblers' policies in blackjack or in different games. Like for instance, in blackjack, you believe that counting works. That counting cards can give you an edge when you are on a certain count level. Uh, on roulette, for instance, you might believe in the tilting of a table to a certain degree can give you an edge of the ball landing to certain numbers, for instance. So all of this you need to check. Do you have any cognitive biases towards any type of game that you are playing? If you do, get rid of it immediately because it's not going to work because the outcomes are still uncontrollable and all of these cognitive biases not going to help you. And then you need to check your illusion of control. So the illusion of control is basically we have made a video on illusion of control. There are two videos. You might want to check those videos to understand the illusion of controls better because that's a kind of a deep topic to dwell into it. So I recommend that you watch those videos on illusion of control. And also, you need to check your fight or flight responses while you are in a gaming session. What I mean is that whenever you realize 20 or 30% loss, your system will trigger a fight or flight response. Same thing like when you are, walking around the bush or a forest, you might see a lion or a tiger. The moment you see the lion, your system will initiate fight or flight response, where you either confront the animal or you want to flee or you want to escape from the animal. Same thing in the gaming session. When you are facing a loss, you must say, "Oh my God, I got a $300 loss. I got a $1,000 as a principal. Then I have $300 loss. What am I going to do about it?" So basically, you got to do something about it. So now you're gonna basically scrap your initial plan, and then you're gonna go into increasing your risk, and then you're gonna go into losses, and then you go drawing into more capital. Withdrawing more money from the ATM, from credit card, taking loans. So basically, this is called fight or flight response. So basically, you are fighting the situation where you got yourself into a trouble, and you want to get out of it. You're not able to, and then you're trying hard to get out of it by utilizing different tools, different means, and different efforts. So that's the are you caught in that situation while you are gambling? So basically, if you are, you need to understand because no one is going to help you except yourself. So basically, these are the things that you have to constantly ask yourself. There's nobody else can really help you. Okay, it's just you and yourself. So when you are in a shitty situation, in a gambling situation, these are the things you need to constantly monitor and manage. Then comes the emotional roller coaster. So basically, while you are gambling, while you are riding the losing cycle. So what's happening here is that you because of the ups and downs of the game, because of the volatility of the games of losing and high and lows, you're gonna go into an emotional roller coaster all the time. And basically, these highs and lows is going to trigger your dopamine level in your system. Basically, the dopamine will make you crave for the peak. So once you realize the peak, you want, and then you lose, and then you want to crave for the same peak again, and then you're going to go back to the losing cycle, and then basically you're going to take more aggressive, risk behavior in order to go back to the same highs. So you need to check for this behavior as well. So once you are at the peak, obviously the best solution is to stop the game and walk out of the game. But if you continue with gambling, once you are at the peak, obviously it's a losing cycle, right? So basically you're going to continue betting and you're going to incrementally losing. So the moment you start losing, you want to go back to the same height that you have encountered before. So basically, these dopamine effects will constantly drive you as an emotional roller coaster between highs and lows and constantly riding the losing cycle. So basically, you are riding the losing cycle. You are constantly in these ups and downs, constantly in these wins and losses, and hoping for a big win to come. And the moment the big win comes, basically, you're going to elevate yourself or you're going to elevate your betting size by betting more and more and taking more and more risk, and therefore your chances of ruin gets higher and higher. Okay, so that, and you are constantly riding that losing cycle. And then you're hoping for a large win the moment you are sitting on a big loss. And then you might face a large win, such as spikes, versus going bust. So, these things, constantly happening to you. You are facing a large win and then you're going bust. So these are the things you constantly, again, need to monitor while you are in a gambling session. And then comes the variable reinforcement. Uh, Basically, here you have to know that it's difficult to predict when to stop. When you are in the game, either winning or losing, you just can't help it. You won't be able to stop easily. So it's difficult for you to convince yourself to stop at any moment in time. You might be sitting on the peak, but you're not able to stop. You might be, you might have lost your initial principal capital, but again, you're not able to stop because you're going to be drawing more money from your ATM card or from the credit card or borrowing some money. Um, so basically, it's very difficult to predict when you're going to stop once you start. So you have to understand this, and the, the better you understand this psychological factor, the better you will manage yourself. So the moment you realize a small loss, obviously, it's better to walk away and do not continue because you are in a not an optimized psychological situation in order to continue gambling. But you will not be able to comprehend this. Okay, so you have to understand that it's extremely difficult to predict when to stop, and there will be some intermittent reinforcement, meaning that, let's say, you have a plan and then your plan works well. You had a win of, let's say, 20%, and then you feel good about that, and then suddenly you go into a loss, and then again you're gonna basically take higher risk, and then you might get a big win, a big spike, and then again you're going to go back to the same cycle of gambling. It's called reinforcement. So basically you are reinforced, and it's a never ending cycle. It just keeps um, keeps you in the loop. You're stuck in a loop. It just turns like a cycle. That's what I mean. Basically, it reinforces you to go back to the same cycle of gambling. It never stops, and it's a perpetuating cycle of boom and bust. So basically, you know, when you play, sometimes, like, it takes you a big win, and then all of a sudden it takes you to ruin, and then you draw some cash, and then again you realize some big win, and then eventually you're going to go into a bust, and then you're going to again draw some cash. Again, you're going to go into a big win, and then you go back to the bust. So it's a perpetual cycle of boom and bust. So these are the things you should know, the nature of the beast, what you are getting engaged, what you are getting into. You are engaging yourself into a nasty type of situation. Okay, so these are the areas you constantly have to check, that what are you going under. I mean, are you aware of these things? Are you aware of the situation that you are in, at what stage you're in? What is it that you are going through? All of this you need to constantly ask yourself. All right. And of course, I mean, you cannot continuously win. You have to basically acknowledge that, rather than pushing yourself in order to win again and again and again. You really have to know that you just cannot win continuously. So if you have a peak, or if you had a big win somewhere, it's better to walk away, rather than hoping for a similar win again. Or you might be sitting on a some kind of big loss, and then rather than basically throwing more cash in order to realize a big win, you just, again, it's better to cut losses and just walk away. So this is what I mean, that you need to acknowledge that you cannot continuously win in this game. Now comes the financial impact. Now, so basically, as we described in our losing cycle, or the paradox of losing cycle, the mathematics, that you know the cash flow. outcome or the financial outcome is unpredictable. So you cannot go into this game with a target. You cannot say, well, I'm going to go in, my target is 20%, 50%, or 100%. And then as soon as I realize my target, I'm going to walk away. It's too good to be true. Okay. So you cannot set a target. So the outcome, the financial outcome is extremely unpredictable in this game. And you might have occasional wins, and that's about it, really. So don't get too excited about the occasional wins. That is going to repeat. So whenever you have an occasional win, you know, again, it's better to stop and walk away and keep those wins and don't turn back maybe for a while. Okay, so the occasional wins cannot be repeated frequently, and you need to acknowledge that. And also, higher losses frequency with higher potential ruins. So basically, the more you realize more losses, obviously you want to bet more and more and more in order to recoup your losses. So you basically here you are chasing your losses. So once you are in a chasing losses phenomenon, then you're gonna basically confront a potential ruin. Okay, so it's important for you to understand or assess yourself. Are you chasing losses? The moment you realize that you are chasing losses, you need to stop. You just need to stop. So, a couple of things you can do is that, okay, well, I'm going to go back to grinding. I'm going to bet small, or I'm going to just stop because you're not optimized in your psychological status. Okay. So, it's important for you to realize when are you chasing. Okay. If you're chasing your losses, you need to stop immediately. There's nothing, you can do other than just stop. Or if you really can, switch the gear and go back to grinding, go back to betting small, would be helpful. But I mean, if you cannot do that, then it's better off, that you stop the game completely. And then, yeah, changing the initial plan. So basically, once you realize higher losses, then your psychological factors are completely disturbed. So basically, what's going to happen is that you're going to end up changing your initial plan. And then once you change your initial plan, then you have no plan. Basically, then you are basically becoming a reckless gambler. So basically, you are recklessly gambling, and you're just hoping for a big win without a plan. So basically, here you're going to go into a massive dramatic situation where you could potentially go into a massive ruins. So, and then social environment and technological influences. So basically, here, whenever you are in a gambling situation or you are in a mood for gaming, so basically, you need to basically ask yourself, where is it coming from? Is it coming from a peer pressure? Did your friend talk you through into it? Did you engage in some kind of chat group where basically they sold you a system? Did you watch any type of marketing ad? Where's it coming from? Did you watch a YouTube video about how to make millions, or understand the source? I mean, um, what is the influence that you've been through that which makes you or made you to come back to the gambling, right? And then it could be an ambience, meaning that okay, if you go to casino, you will find the decoration, the lights, and the music, making you in a perfect ambiance, which is making you very comfortable to gamble. So basically, that's also can be a trigger. It can influence your mood, in order to gamble more. And you need to realize this element very carefully. This is, once you are in a real casino or offline casinos. But in online gambling as well, there might be the colors or music or the dealer or some technological influence that you are getting influenced, that you might be having fun, okay, while you are gaming. So you need to check that as well. So basically, you need to constantly check that these things can really influence you to gamble more. And also, easy access to funding and gambling leading to higher drawdowns. So basically, here, nowadays it's so easy to transfer funds from crypto wallets. You can use your credit card. It's just a tap, a tap or two. You're that's it. Your money is transferred to the casino. You realize that if you want to withdraw this money from the casino, you will many of them will gonna give you a hard time. There is a know your customer KYC verification process. They might even give you a hard time about um, that you have used a VPN or restrictions to their policies, and it can go into really a an extreme difficult situation for you to withdraw the money. But it's so easy to deposit the money into the casino. It's so easy. Okay, you just have to use your credit card. Bam, money is gone. Transfer the money from crypto wallet to the casino, instant, less than a minute. Okay, so it's easy access is dangerous, and um, the best way to quit gambling or to take a break is actually you to lock your crypto wallets and get rid of your credit cards and lock your funds. And we have a separate video on this, on how to control your funds in order not to transfer them easily to the casinos. You might want to check those videos we have created for you to help you in order to control your funds. Okay, so here we're just highlighting on the fact that it's easy in order to access your funding and transfer your funds from your credit card, from your bank, from the crypto wallet into the casino. And this basically can trigger the element of that you might be constantly interested in gambling because of the easy access. Okay, so you need to be aware of this. Manipulation, non-transparency. You need to be also aware that online casinos, for instance, no matter what, you don't know what's happening behind the scene. I mean, let's say the card shuffling, is it real? Is it biased? Is it manipulated? Are they cheating you or not? I mean, first of all, it's non-transparent, and there is no regulation. Okay, so you're not protected. So basically, it's non-transparent. So you got to be aware of this. So there is nothing you can do except that you are trusting this online site and gambling with your money, and you don't know if it is fair, if it is legal, if it is are they cheating you or not. All of this you have no idea. So why you are gambling in this case? Why you're risking your money in something that you cannot trust? That's the whole point. And then you constantly have to check your addictive tendencies. Now, you might be spiraling into addiction. Obviously, basically because of this ups and downs and wins and losses and all of this, basically you are going into an emotional roller coaster. Your financial impact is getting damaged, and you're chasing your losses, and all of this will spiral into addiction. Okay, and you will not be able to get out of it sooner. So basically, there are people who got addicted for years, over 20, 30, 40 years. So, you need to be aware of this, that it doesn't really spiral into addiction if you are not already into one. So, and then loss of control due to dopamine effect. So basically, you might be you might be craving for to come back, and you might be having relapses because of this addiction. And that's usually due to the dopamine effect, because your dopamine level is down and you want to elevate your dopamine level in order to feel good. And in order to feel good, you need to bet. You'll be craving for more and more to bet, regardless of win or loss, just because of you having this excitement to have this another bet. It's just, having an access to your money in order to go and bet online, in order to go to a casino and sit on that table and then enjoy the game by betting, is just is due to the dopamine effect. Okay, so you need to realize that you are undergoing a dopamine effect constantly, that making you relapse into gambling over and over again. And and of course, I mean, you need to realize when you are irresponsible in your gambling due to excitement. So this is very similar to the dopamine effect. It's just that you're constantly getting excited in order to place another bet. And if you're not betting, you're not excited, you're bored. And if you're not gambling, you are constantly thinking about gambling. So, you're not able to stop thinking about it. Even when you are with your family, when you are with your friends, or you're outside at work, whatever, basically you're constantly thinking about gambling. So basically, this is because of the addictive nature of gambling. So, guys, so this is a comprehensive due diligence criteria that you really want to, get yourself checked, where you are, what's happening to you, and what are you going under, and how you can manage them. So, any of these can kick in and play a very important role in your gambling habits. And the better you control these areas, the better off you are. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I really appreciate if you could subscribe to our channel and press the like button as well. I would really appreciate that. And guys, until the next video, ciao.